Loops are used when you need to perform an action repeatedly. While writing a smart contract, there are situations where the same operation must be executed multiple times. In these cases, loops help reduce code duplication and make your logic more efficient. Solidity supports loop constructs that allow you to iterate over data and execute logic multiple times. However, unlike traditional programming environments, loops in Solidity must be used carefully because each iteration consumes gas. The while loop allows you to execute a block of code repeatedly as long as a condition remains true. The condition is evaluated before each iteration and the loop stops once the condition becomes false. In this example, the loop runs while counter is less than 5. On each iteration, the current value of counter is added to the array and then incremented. In practice, while loops are rarely used in Solidity because they can be harder to control and may lead to unpredictable gas usage. The for loop is the most commonly used loop in Solidity. It is concise and ideal when you know exactly how many iterations you need. A for loop consists of 3 parts: initialization, condition, and iteration. This loop runs 10 times, with I going from 0 to 9. Because the number of iterations is clearly defined, for loops are generally preferred over while loops in Solidity. The break statement is used to exit a loop early. When break is executed, the loop stops immediately and execution continues with the next line after the loop. In nested loops, break only exits the innermost loop where it is used. In this example, the loop stops when j reaches 3, so the array will contain the values 0, 1, and 2. The continue statement skips the current iteration and moves directly to the next one. When continue is executed, the remaining code in the loop body is ignored for that iteration. In this example, the number 3 is skipped, so the resulting array contains 0, 1, 2, and 4. When using loops in smart contracts, gas usage is a critical factor. Every iteration consumes gas, and loops that perform many operations can become expensive. If a loop runs for too long or depends on user-controlled data, it may exceed the gas limit and cause the transaction to fail. For example, iterating over a very large array in a single transaction can make a function unusable. Because of this, loops in Solidity should always be bounded, meaning you should have a clear and limited number of iterations. In some cases, it's better to split the work into multiple transactions or use patterns like pagination instead of processing everything at once. Loops are powerful tools for handling repetitive tasks and processing data in smart contracts. The while loop allows flexible iteration, but should be used carefully. The for loop is the most common and safest choice when the number of iterations is known. Break and continue statements give you additional control over loop execution, allowing you to exit early or skip specific iterations. Always keep gas costs in mind when designing loops. Efficient loop usage leads to more reliable and cost-effective smart contracts.